Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First, I will introduce myself. I'm Muhamad Hadi, an undergraduate accounting student at the Faculty of Economics, State University of Jakarta. On this occasion, I will make a presentation about the research of analyzing the factor that affects student interest in a career as a public accountant. Indonesia is currently experiencing the acquisition of public accountant. It is recorded that only about 4,000 people have been certified CPA. According to PPKA, the development of public accountant is only around 4% annually. Yet, if we look at the number of undergraduate accounting students, there are approximately 35,000 people. However, the development of accountant in Indonesia is only at 3,000 to 5,000 people each year. There are several factors that are took to affect student interest in a career as a public accountant, namely external factor consisting of financial reward, labor market consideration, and work environment. Meanwhile, it consists of internal factor of personality. The fourth factor has been used as a research variable in order to see the influence on student interest in a career as a public accountant. But based on the result of the research, there were mixed results in saying the influence of this factor on student interest in a career as public accountant. There are still differences in the result of the study, which suggests that the research gap made me do research again related to this factor. Conceptually, this factor are the following facts. First, financial reward. In choosing a profession as student, will pay attention to the financial reward he received while working in this profession. Financial reward are written that can be held in currency for the work he has done. Reward can be in the form of salaries or wage, pension fund, or salary increases. The second, the consideration of the job market. Fresh graduate students will see the opportunities they have when choosing the profession, such as the size of the job field, whether there is security at work, have the opportunity to have a higher career. These things are prohibited by students in choosing the public accounting profession later. The third, the work environment. The work environment is a condition that exists in an ideal work environment, which is an expectation desired by students as fresh graduate. The ideal work environment can be in the form of pressure at work that makes a person more active at work. Clear work target will provide goal for workers to complete their work. In addition, the maximum utilization of information technology will make it easier for workers to complete their work effectively and efficiently. Jobs that have flexible working hours are certainly also very helpful for fresh graduates. In addition, the existence of social relationships that exist in the work environment will really be considered by fresh graduate students in having an ideal work environment in the profession they choose. The last, on personality. The personality that exists within the individual can influence the individual interest in something in choosing the desired profession. Individual will tend to choose profession according to their own personal characteristic. The suitability between the profession of public accounting and the personality of accounting student will further increase the likelihood that student will be interested in choosing that profession. So, I formulated 4 hypotheses to verify the relationship of this factor. The first hypothesis is that financial reward have a positive effect on the interest of a career student as public accountant. The second hypothesis is that labor market consideration have a positive effect on the interest of career student as public accountant. The third hypothesis is that the work environment has a positive effect on the interest of a career student as public accountant. The fourth hypothesis is that personality has a positive effect on the interest of career student as public accountant. The population in this study were students of the Diploma 3 and S1 Accounting Studi program from University in Jakarta. The sample technique used in accidental sampling by calculating the sample using the Roscoe assumption. The number of variables used is multiplied by 10, so that the sample obtained is 50 samples. Before distributing the questionnaire and data from the sample, conducted a data quality test process consisting of validity and reliability test first. Data quality test by distributing the questionnaire to 20 students of D3 and S1 Accounting Studi program from university in East Java. Based on the result of the validity test, it was stated that there were several instruments that were invalid because they obtained a value lower than the table and the significant level was above 5%. So that this instrument needs to be removed from the questionnaire before it is distributed to respondents that became the sample. After that, the results of the reliability test indicate that the questionnaire used was reliable with a total probability alpha value above 0.70. Then the questionnaire that has been tested for data quality is distributed to respondents via online media using the Google Form as a medium for answering the questionnaire. From the result of distributing questionnaire over a period of 1 month, it is found that the questionnaire was responded to 74 times by respondent. But of the 70 respondents, only 59 came from university in Jakarta. Then from 59 respondents who were filtered based on the criteria of having visited or done an internship at the public accounting firm, 50 respondents were obtained. However, only 46 samples can be processed and used on analysis. The data that performed as classic assumption test process, namely normality, multicollinearity, and heteroscedasticity, before going to the hypothesis testing process. Based on the result of the classical assumption test, it is found that the data is normal distributed using the Kolmogorov-Smirnov test with a significant value of 0.200. The data were also free of multicollinearity symptom with a tolerance value greater than 0.10 and a p-value less than 10. To detect heteroscedasticity symptom, the Glatzer test was used by regressing the absolute residual value, and the result was that the data were free from heteroscedasticity symptom because the significant value of a variable was greater than 0.05. After the classical assumption test, process is carried out the hypothesis testing containing the F-test, T-test, and the termination coefficient test, which the result obtained that based on the test, the value of F-count is greater than F-table, so that the model is suitable for use or goodness of fit. Based on the test result, it is known that the variable of financial reward, work environment, and personality have a partial influence on student interest in a career as public accountant with a significant value below 0.05, which means that first hypothesis, third hypothesis, and fourth hypothesis are accepted with a positive relationship direction. Meanwhile, for the labor market consideration variable, the significant value is greater than 0.05, so that the second hypothesis is rejected, which means the labor market consideration have no influence on student interest in a career as public accountant. Based on the test results, the coefficient of determination obtained an adjusted value of R square of 670, which means that 67% of the student interest variable as an accounting is published by the independent variable used in the study. Meanwhile, 33% of the report by other variable were not used in this study. Therefore, it can show that external factors such as financial reward and work environment influence student interest in working as public accountant. Meanwhile, internal factor, namely personality, also have an influence on student interest in a career as a public accountant. However, other external factors, namely market consideration, have no influence on student interest in working as public accountant. The implication that can be obtained from this research is that the public accounting firm, which is a place for accounting students who want to work as a public accountant, must pay attention to the above factor in to create a professional and state public accountant who can avoid public accountant. Research realized that there were still limitations in the sample during the research process due to the COVID-19 outbreak. Researchers further research to expand to the scope of research object and the independent variable used. That is the explanation from me regarding to results of the research that has been done. I apologize if there are sentences or words that are not right from me. Correction and input mean a lot to me. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.